disrupted
America that I fought.
Weird thing to happen. Hello, one and all. Welcome to this edition of Kitz Corner. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So Donald Trump made a speech recently during his campaign trail of 2024. And in true Donald Trump fashion, one of the reasons, multiple reasons why the establishment hates him so much is because he's a wild card. I've said this multiple times before, but to reiterate, the true reason that they hate a commander like Donald Trump, not because he's any different than the rest of the establishment, he's as much of a establishment prick as the rest of them. I mean, he grew up as a real estate tycoon. He became a success. He had a TV show on NBC for so many years. Like, he's no different than any other person in the political billionaire class escapade. But the reason that they hate him is because sometimes the truth blurts out of him. Sometimes he takes a moment to really say what's going on in the room. And this happened at a recent rally where Donald Trump accidentally, or maybe intentionally, said the quiet part out loud. And it's absolutely hilarious because the quiet part he's about to say out loud really, really highlights exactly why we're so focused on certain countries. For example, why Donald Trump was so focused on Venezuela. They told us it was because of his humanitarian crisis, but here's what really happened.
From Venezuela. How about we're buying oil from Venezuela? When I left, Venezuela was ready to collapse. We would have taken it over. We would have gotten all that oil. It would have been right next door. How about we're buying oil from Venezuela? When I left, Venezuela was ready to collapse. We would have taken it over. We would have gotten all that oil. It would have been right next door.
Wow. Wow. Trump doing his ill-famous Al Capone right there. Like, I was about to collapse. We could have took that place over. Kabing kabah. You know, someone was behind camera. I'm sure there was an op, at CNN. A producer who's like freaking out right now, like, oh my God, he said the thing we're not supposed to say. Oh my God. Talk about children. Talk about people. I just don't. No. Oh God. Our foreign policy has now been exposed. He said it was about the oil. And that's why they hate him so much. That is the true intention of why all the impeachments, all the lawsuits, all the different ways to silence him out, the raids at Mar-a-Lago, the classified documents, because apparently as a president, you're not allowed to classify documents, which is the whole purpose of being a president. You have that power. You have that ability to classify your own documents. You're not allowed to do that, apparently, when you're Trump. Again, all of that is because of stuff like this, because he blurts things that are truthful. He blurts the most obvious truth to the American people that the American people are finally starting to realize. All those failed attempts of going to Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, Syria, Libya, Lebanon, Venezuela, Nicaragua, Panama, like all these different nations. I wonder if it has something to do with the mineral wealth there. I wonder if it's something to do with business purposes. Because let's face it, we're not defending people here in America. So why the hell would we be so careful on defending people overseas? We don't defend jack shit. Oh, wait, we do defend the oil. Oh my God. This, honest to God, I'm not a fan of Trump, but this makes me tolerate him. And I almost feel bad. I feel more sympathetic the more times they try to impeach him and do lawsuits and try to silence out his campaign. I feel more sympathetic because of stuff like this, because he's able to just blurt it out like he doesn't give a damn. And I want to show this because with any humanitarian crisis, using in quotations, with any fixing problems around the world comes at a cost. And I just want to show people the cost burden that has been endured just on Venezuela alone. So here's a little graph here. This says Venezuela regional crisis complex emergency. This is from June of 2023. And they said because of all the coups, because of all the sanctions, because of all the things we tried to do to undermine their economic stance and take down Maduro, here's what happened. 7.7 million people in need of humanitarian assistance in Venezuela. 7.3 million Venezuelan migrants and refugees globally. $720 million required for 2023 Venezuela HRP. $1.7 billion required for 2023 RMRP. 4 million estimated number of people in need of emergency food and assistance. So if you ever wonder why we have so much debt, why there's a border crisis, why there's an immigration crisis, why people are flooding in to towns and cities seeking refuge, I give you Exhibit A. I give you Exhibit A, folks. And I tell people this, if you're against immigration, if you're truly so heartily supportive of being against immigrants pouring into your country, then you should be alarmed at this and trying to find a way to stop manufactured wars that create the pouring of refugees. If you're really caring about immigration, then you'd be anti-war. The two go hand in hand because causation has an effect. We cause these wars, and the effect is now people have to pour in to seek survival elsewhere. They come into the United States, they pour into Canada, and we have no space, no ability, no ways to handle this crisis because we can't even handle our own crises. This, I give you Exhibit A of why so much debt, so much inflation, and so much of our immigration problems are caused by stuff like this. This is from The Guardian, too. The Venezuelan crisis. Maduro claims victory over deranged coup attempt. I love how, like, they're trying to make it sound like coup is still a rational thing. Like, you know, it wasn't the best coup we could have offered. We could have done better, but a coup is still a coup. After all, it is The Guardian, so you got to take what you get. President blames Trump imperialists and coup-mongering far-right as rival Juan Guaido calls for more protests. This is from 4 years ago, from when Juan Guaido, you know, the successful George Washington University CIA-trained American, tried to go into Venezuela and claim the presidency. And surprisingly, it did not work out. Amazingly, that a random person just walking in saying that I'm the president now does not always work out. That would be like me walking into the White House and saying, listen, I know how this works. I'm taking over. Joe Biden, go have a nap. I am now the interim president. Do you think that's going to work well for me? Probably not. But at this point, they'll take a cardboard cutout over Joe Biden at this point. Just how crazy it is. Now, Juan Guaido, the supposed interim president that was cheerleaded by Trump and Pelosi, it was a bipartisan measure to make sure a rando from America who was CIA trained becomes the president of Venezuela to serve the people, is now sitting in coffee shops being beriddled by the Venezuelan people. So I think it was a little more than just a failure at a coup attempt. I think it's more than a deranged coup attempt. I think it's an absolute disaster that the United States tried to take over, thought it was going to be a successful transition of taking over Venezuela, and then they realized, oh shit, Venezuelan people may actually be smarter than average Americans. They might actually recognize the fact that this random person is not exactly qualified to be the president. Primarily the fact that he's an American who went to an American university and got trained by the CIA. Like, there's no tells there, apparently. But Juan Guaido was applauded by both Trump and Pelosi. The Democrats and Republicans supported this because nothing has bipartisan movement than war criminality. Nothing brings parties together than the possibility of overthrowing a country, stealing its natural resources, and pillaging against people. That's why it's so successful when it comes to the Iraq War, when it came to Afghanistan. The only reason they're against Ukraine right now is because Ukraine is Joe Biden's war, and Israel's more the Republican war. So they're trying to find a way, again, to manipulate the situation. But in the end, they all like wars. And again, just to show you why the establishment truly hates Trump is because of golden moments like this. Listen to what he said about Syria.
We're keeping the oil. We have the oil. The oil is secure. We left troops behind only for the oil. We're keeping the oil. We have the oil. The oil is secure. We left troops behind only for the oil.
Beautiful. I mean, it's horrible. It's horrible that we're killing entire countries to steal oil reserves. But the fact that he's just saying that so confidently, like he's like it's like telling his golf buddies, like, yeah, we took the oil, we're there for the oil. He thinks he's at the country club, like talking to his boys. But no, this is talking to America. This is talking to the world. This is going to be globally watched all around the world to realize, hey, America is intervening in your countries because it wants natural resources and not the other crap that we promised. All that humanitarian aid, that's just an empty gesture. Like saying, you know, God bless you after a sneeze. We really didn't bless you. We're just saying it. This is why they truly hate him. This is obviously why they truly hate him. Because God forbid someone of his stature, someone who is in that position of power, tells us exactly why we're intervening countries. You know, we're supposed to come up with this scenario and story and complex, you know, dialogue like a Hollywood motion picture of, you know, the strives and troubles that the Venezuelan people had to endure under Maduro. And that's why this hero, out of nowhere, Juan Guaido, is going to save the day like Superman. And people didn't buy that story. Shocking. And it didn't come to that point because there were moments where the establishment actually endured Donald Trump. There was moments where the establishment actually approved of Donald Trump. And again, this is why they're manufacturing arguments to go against Donald Trump because he's no different than the rest of the establishment. In fact, a lot of the times when it came to domestic policies, when it came to giving a tax break to billionaire class, you know, that was definitely an applause by the rest of the establishment in America. And he did a lot of, you know, warmongering outside of Ukraine and Israel. Like, he was definitely a typical sort of Republican in a way. And there was moments, like for this example, where the mainstream media actually applauded Donald Trump numerous times before they went on a tyrant rampage and say that Donald Trump is this evil boogeyman that lives under their bed. In fact, it exposed how disgusting the mainstream media is, and personas like Brian Williams to say this line.
We see these beautiful pictures at night from the decks of these two U.S. Navy vessels in the Eastern Mediterranean. I am tempted to quote the great Leonard Cohen, I'm guided by the beauty of our weapons. And they are beautiful pictures of fearsome armaments making what is for them a brief flight over to this airfield. What did they hit? What are you convinced that they hit? Well, we see.
And they call that day the day that Donald Trump became a president. That was the day when Donald Trump launched airstrikes into Syria. But then they retaliated against that because apparently Donald Trump didn't attack a city, more so just a landing strip. Like, he didn't go full force into Syria, and that's why they had to do a complete 180, going from, you know, quoting Leonard Cohen and writing a Valentine's Day poem about a missile taking off, like he's about to, you know, jack one off for a missile, to then say that Donald Trump was an absolute failure when it came to Syria because, oh my God, you didn't go full force. You didn't go after, the towns and cities. You didn't corrupt them. So it just goes to show how diabolical the system is. It goes to show that it's beyond Trump. It's beyond just hatred of Donald Trump. It's against people that speak out against the establishment. That's why they retaliate as much against Donald Trump as they do against Cop City, which is the organization to stop the police surveillance state that's increasing in Atlanta and Georgia. That's why they retaliate against Alex Jones. That's why they retaliate against Elon Musk. Elon Musk is no different billionaire than any one of us, any one of the billionaire class, but they hate him because he bought a social media platform and allowed people to have free expression for the most part. And now, again, he's cowarding back to the establishment by, silencing out Palestinian voices because he's a billionaire. Same with Donald Trump. They're all part of the same club. It makes little difference. It makes little difference. But the fact that Donald Trump can easily, openly state that we're in Syria for the oil, we're dropping, the Venezuelan economy, we're crushing that landmass and taking over that nation for the oil, shows a lot. It exposes a lot. And that's why they truly hate him. But it's also absolutely hilarious that Donald Trump spent millions of dollars initializing a coup that he thought the Venezuelan country was going to collapse on its own, and then did a coup to try to collapse it with the help of the U.S. military. And even that failed and backfired against America. So if that tells you how strong and defensive the Venezuelan people are, how great they are at, defending their country, and how much defense they really have, again, compared to America, it's very symbolic. It's very symbolic. And it's also symbolic that Brian Williams is, like a porn star when it comes to the military-industrial complex. Like, quoting Leonard Cohen, writing stupid little poems like, oh, it's so beautiful that this is about to explode. Where is exactly it's going to land? Oh my God, imagine if it landed on a daycare center. Oh my God, I might cream my pants right now. God, this is so good for my advertisers. It really makes you sick. It really makes you sick. And I almost feel empathetic more towards Donald Trump because of stuff like this.